The film starts in 1899, with Europe on the brink of war due to the development of new weapons. In London, police officers are stunned when a tank bursts through the Bank of England, destroying everything and easily deflecting bullets. The tank blows open the vault door, and terrorists led by the Phantom emerge. Inside, they find treasures, but the Phantom is specifically looking for the blueprints of Venice's foundation. Britain accuses Germany of the theft, but soon the Phantom and his men show up in Berlin, abducting scientists and destroying Zeppelins, which leads to further tensions and brings countries closer to war. Meanwhile, in Kenya, Reed is searching for Allan, the hero from King Solomon's Mines. An elderly man claiming to be Allan tells tales of adventures, but the real Allan reveals himself when Reed mentions that he works for the British government and needs his assistance. Allan initially refuses, as he has given up fighting after losing his family. A group of strange men arrive asking for Allan and accidentally shoot the old man. Allan immediately retaliates, leading to a firefight. The assailants are tough to kill because they wear armor and use automatic weapons. Allan takes them out with precision shots and then engages in hand-to-hand combat, using furniture and a wall-mounted horn to defeat them. A henchman manages to flee, and Allan gives chase, oblivious to the suitcase left behind. Allan, a skilled sharpshooter, takes down the henchman from a distance, but the man poisons himself before Allan can question him. Suddenly, the tavern explodes, and with war threatening his peaceful life in Africa, Allan decides to assist Reed. In England, Reed introduces Allan to his superior, M, who informs him about forming a group called the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen to thwart the Phantom. Allan meets Captain Nemo from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, whose submarine will transport them to Venice in 4 days to prevent the Phantom's next attack. Unexpectedly, a voice from an empty chair reveals the presence of another team member, Skinner, a thief who turned invisible using a serum but hasn't discovered a cure. To make himself visible, Skinner wears a jacket and face paint. Another member, Mina, a skilled chemist, joins them, although Allan is displeased with having a woman on the team. They embark on their journey, with Nemo showcasing his advanced car, driven by his first mate Ishmael from Moby Dick. Unbeknownst to them, they are being followed. They arrive at the docks to enlist Dorian Gray, who lets them in because Mina is his ex. Allan observes that Dorian hasn't aged, recalling that he received a blessing from a witch doctor, ensuring he wouldn't perish in Africa. Dorian shows no interest in joining the team, but their conversation is abruptly interrupted by armed men, led by the Phantom, who emerge from the shadows. The Phantom asks the League to team up with him, but Allan notices one of his henchmen, recognizing him as the previous stalker, who then begins shooting. Chaos ensues, showcasing everyone's skills. The immortal Dorian walks through bullets, wielding his sword to kill men and heal himself. Nemo utilizes his sword and martial arts, while Allan and the stalker, revealed to be American agent Tom Sawyer, rely on firearms. Skinner sheds his jacket and uses paint to attack with books. The Phantom manages to escape through a window into the river. Just when the team thinks the fight is finished, a hidden man takes Mina hostage. Mina's eyes turn red, and she kills him by drinking his blood, revealing she is the widow of Jonathan Harker from the Dracula tale. Taking the assault personally, Dorian agrees to join, and Allan permits Tom to join as well. Tom was sent by the American government due to fears that the war might extend to the Americas. The team journeys to Paris, where Nemo introduces them to his ship, the Nautilus, which doubles as a submarine. In Paris, Allan and Tom pursue the monstrous Mr. Hyde, who has been causing havoc in the city. Allan, instructing Tom to shoot more precisely, leads Hyde to a specific location. Hyde eventually makes his way to a rooftop, where Allan shoots him into a prepared net. Once back on the Nautilus, several crew members struggle to chain Hyde, who still manages to push them away. Allan proposes a deal. If Hyde helps them, he will receive a pardon from the Queen. Hyde agrees and painfully transforms back into the meek Dr. Jekyll. With the team now complete, the ship shifts into submarine mode and heads to Venice using a copy of the blueprints stolen by Phantom. The crew has to learn to live together. Allan is frustrated by Skinner's invisibility, and Mina is uncomfortable with Nemo's worship of the goddess of death. However, Allan is more intimidated by Mina than any religious statue. One afternoon, after the Nautilus returns to ship mode, Allan attempts to teach Tom to shoot more accurately and conserve bullets, but leaves when Tom inquires about his deceased son. Meanwhile, Nemo and Ishmael find powder in the control room just before a book mysteriously closes. They give the powder to Mina, who identifies it as flash powder used by photographers. Dorian visits Mina and reveals his secret. An aging portrait of him is missing, and he will lose his powers if he looks at it. Dorian flirted with Mina, and they shared a drink together. When the glass broke, cutting her finger, Mina became excited by the smell of blood. They kissed, causing Jekyll to feel jealous. Hyde, the darker part of Jekyll, urged him to drink the elixir again to attract women, but Nemo stopped him before he lost control. The captain warned he didn't want a monster on his ship, and Jekyll reminded him of his own shady pirate past. Back in his room, Jekyll found one of his elixir bottles missing. He told Allan and accused Skinner of theft since Skinner hadn't been seen for a while. When they reached Venice, they found a carnival happening. They figured out from blueprints that the Phantom planned to blow up the city. As they searched for explosives, the bombs detonated, causing buildings to collapse like dominoes. They needed to demolish a specific building to stop the destruction. So Tom took Nemo's car with Allan, Dorian, and Mina, while Jekyll stayed behind, fearing Hyde's release. The Phantom's men surrounded them and opened fire. Dorian suspected Skinner's betrayal and ran away. Outnumbered, Allan and Tom tried to fight back. Mina used her powers to scale a wall and fiercely fed on the attackers. As the buildings kept collapsing, damaging the ship, Allan spotted the Phantom nearby and leapt out to chase him. Tom is left driving by himself, swerving to avoid falling debris, until he locates the correct building and shoots a flare. Nemo responds by launching a rocket, demolishing the building and halting the chain reaction. The explosion flips the car, pinning Tom underneath. On the ship, Dorian reveals he's the traitor and shoots Ishmael. At the same time, Allan tracks the Phantom to a graveyard. They fight, and the Phantom stabs Allan. Allan retaliates, knocking off the Phantom's mask and exposing him as M. Moriarty, the nemesis of Sherlock Holmes. The Phantom escapes despite Allan throwing a knife at him. The team returns to the ship and finds Ishmael dying, who uses his final breath to expose Dorian. The ship's exploration pod shows Dorian heading to meet the Phantom. The League follows him and discovers a recording from Dorian, with the Phantom's voice explaining that Reed works for him and was assigned to gather the League so Dorian could collect samples of their powers. Dorian stole Jekyll's elixir, Mina's blood with a broken vial, Skinner's skin when he scratched him, and took photos of Nemo's technology. Allan was involved because he could capture Hyde. With these samples, the Phantom plans to create super soldiers to sell in wars. Jekyll observes that his alter ego, Hyde, is suffering from a strange sound in the recording, coinciding with the Phantom's announcement that the ship will explode once the recording stops. The ship trembles, the engine room floods, and some crew members are caught in the water. Nemo can't bring the Nautilus to the surface and decides to seal the engine room with men inside. Hyde persuades Jekyll that they can assist, leading Jekyll to transform. Using his immense strength, Hyde operates levers and opens valves, draining the water and allowing the ship to surface. While regrouping, they receive a Morse code message from Skinner, who had clandestinely boarded the pod with Dorian and is now sending them coordinates to follow. They head to northern Mongolia, discovering the Phantom's hidden fortress. Taking refuge in a cave, they await Skinner's return. He informs them that the fortress is extensive, with kidnapped scientists working non-stop to develop super soldiers and replicate Nemo's technology. As they strategize, Dorian confronts the Phantom, demanding his painting. It turns out the painting was stolen to coerce him into compliance. Having regained possession, Dorian is determined not to fight anymore. The League reaches the fortress, neutralizing the guards with their abilities. They infiltrate the fortress, with Skinner placing explosives throughout the factory, while Hyde, Nemo, and his team liberate the scientists' families. Unfortunately, a battalion of soldiers catches them. A shootout follows, but Nemo's weapons fail to penetrate the guards' heavy armor. Hyde uses a massive metal door to shield from bullets, enabling Nemo to combat the guards with his sword and rescue the scientists. At the same time, Mina confronts Dorian in his chamber, and they duel with swords, healing their injuries quickly. Mina is momentarily distracted by the enchanted painting, and Dorian pins her to the bed with his sword, missing her heart. Mina surprises him by impaling him with his own sword against the wall and forces him to gaze upon his portrait, breaking the spell. Dorian ages rapidly and dies. Allan and Tom hunt for the Phantom, who is supervising the container holding the League samples. They corner him, but a guard ambushes them from behind, allowing the Phantom to flee with the container. They pursue and encounter an invisible man who attacks them, revealing he is not Skinner. Allan continues pursuing the Phantom, while Tom battles the new invisible man but squanders his ammunition. An armored soldier arrives with a flamethrower, igniting everything. The real Skinner grabs the soldier's attention but gets burned in the process. Tom then uses a torch to set the soldier's gas tank on fire, causing an explosion that kills him. Tom goes to check on the injured Skinner but is captured by another invisible man. Allan encounters the Phantom in a dark room, and they engage in combat until the Phantom falls. Allan grabs an axe, prepared to finish him off. During this, Nemo helps the scientists escape while Hyde guards them. A guard consumes too much elixir and turns into a powerful monster, posing a significant challenge for Hyde and Nemo. Hyde changes back to Jekyll, forcing them to flee. Skinner's explosives detonate, collapsing the building. The falling debris kills the monster, allowing the Phantom to evade Allan's attack. Allan attempts to fight again, but the Phantom reveals his invisible accomplice has captured Tom. As Allan turns to save Tom, the Phantom stabs him in the back and escapes. With Allan's glasses broken, Tom uses his rifle and, applying Allan's training, successfully kills the Phantom from a distance. The box containing samples falls into the water. Before dying, Allan tells Tom that the new century belongs to the younger generation. Later, the League buries Allan with his family in Africa, and Tom places the rifle on his grave. The group decides to stick together and embark on a new adventure. After they leave, a witch doctor from Allan's story arrives and performs a ritual that causes the grave to tremble. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching and see you again soon. Take care.